The doors to Providence Municipal Court swung open, and in walked Adrian Mercer, the 18-year-old heir to the Mercer family fortune. A fortune built from offshore investments, real estate portfolios, and a chain of luxury automotive dealerships. He didn't walk in like someone facing criminal charges. He walked in like someone arriving fashionably late to his own birthday party. Sunglasses still on, earbuds in, phone in hand. His laughter echoed before he ever reached the defendant's table, not because anything was funny, but because he didn't believe anything here was serious. Adrian didn't bother to look around the courtroom. Not at the family sitting quietly. Not at the clerk. Not at the officer who had arrested him. Not even at Judge Frank Caprio, who watched him with thoughtful restraint. Every step Adrian took suggested one message. I can't be touched. But today that belief was about to break. Because Adrian wasn't here for a parking ticket. He was here for racing his sports car through a school zone at 79 miles per hour, while live streaming it. And this time, no amount of money was going to clean up the mess. To understand how we ended up here, you need to understand Adrian Mercer's world. Adrian was born into a life where mistakes had no weight. When he shattered a neighbor's window at 12, a check fixed it. When he posted videos mocking classmates at 15, a private PR consultant erased them. When he got his first speeding ticket at 16, his father's legal team turned it into a warning with a wink. The Mercer family didn't just have money, they had influence. His father, Charles Mercer, sat on foundation boards, sponsored city galas, and donated to political campaigns. The family name appeared on hospital wings and lecture halls. Their wealth didn't just open doors, it removed the need for doors entirely. Adrian grew up believing laws were suggestions, consequences were optional, and any problem could be solved with the right signature on the right check. So when he bought his first car, a metallic silver Italian coupe he couldn't legally drive without supervision, he treated the roads like his personal racetrack. And people noticed. Videos of him weaving between traffic at dangerous speeds appeared on social media. Clips of him bragging about never getting caught got thousands of likes. And when he was caught, he always walked out of court smiling, because consequences never came. Until 6 months ago when the charges started piling up. Reckless endangerment. Speeding through pedestrian-heavy areas. Filming it for followers. Mocking law enforcement on camera. Warnings were given. Fines were paid. Lawyers smoothed everything over. And Adrian learned the same lesson every time. Nothing will happen to me. So when he went 79 miles per hour through a school zone while live streaming to nearly 50,000 followers, he didn't just break the law. He dared the universe to stop him. Today the universe finally answered. This wasn't Adrian's first time in a courtroom. Not even close. In the past year alone he'd stood before 3 different judges, and he treated every appearance like a performance. He laughed. He filmed TikTok clips on courthouse steps. He made t-shirts saying, "Catch me if you can." He once told an officer, "Relax, I could buy your job." Each time his father's attorneys minimized, negotiated, and reframed the events. He's just a kid. He's under pressure. He's misunderstood. He's learning. But the problem was, he wasn't learning anything. Because consequences shape character. And Adrian had never met a consequence that didn't melt under money. So when he sat in the holding area before today's hearing, he texted his friends. Gonna let the judge talk, nod, say sorry, then I'm out. Dinner later? To Adrian this courtroom was background noise. An inconvenience. A speed bump on his path to whatever fun he had planned afterward. Because why would today be any different than the last dozen times? But today the judge wasn't just any judge. Today he was standing before Judge Frank Caprio, a man known not only for fairness, but for something Adrian had never encountered. Patience with a backbone. The courtroom was quiet. Not tense, not hostile. Just quiet in the way places become when everyone present understands the importance of the moment. Judge Caprio sat with his usual calm presence. Hands folded. Glasses resting low on his nose. Expression steady, warm but unwavering. "Good morning," Judge Caprio said, always polite to every defendant who entered his courtroom. Adrian didn't respond. He didn't look up. He didn't remove his sunglasses. He was busy watching a meme someone sent him. "Mr. Mercer," the bailiff repeated, "the judge has addressed you." Adrian sighed loudly, the kind of sigh a child gives when asked to do chores, and slowly pushed one earbud aside. "Not both. Just one." Yeah. I heard." People in the courtroom exchanged glances. Not angry ones, but the kind that silently ask, "Is this really happening?" Judge Caprio didn't correct him. "Not yet." He simply opened the file in front of him. "Mr. Mercer, you are charged with reckless driving in a school zone," he began. "This is your third major traffic offense in the last 6 months. The court has also reviewed video evidence indicating you live-streamed the incident. Before we proceed, do you have anything you wish to say?" Adrian leaned back, feet stretched out, phone still in hand. "Can we just skip to the part where you tell me the fine?" he said. "So I can get out of here?" A ripple of stillness spread across the room. Not noise. Not reactions. Just silence. The kind of silence that signals the air has shifted. Judge Caprio closed the folder, slowly, intentionally. This was no longer simply a hearing. This was a moment of reckoning. Judge Caprio kept his voice level, the kind of tone that commands attention not through volume, but through absolute clarity. "Mr. Mercer," he said, "this is a court of law. You will treat these proceedings with respect." Adrian didn't even look up from his phone. "I am respecting it," he said flatly. "I showed up." A few people in the back shook their heads. Judge Caprio continued. "You were driving 79 miles per hour in a school zone. Children were present. You were live streaming, encouraging comments and laughing. Do you understand how serious that is?" Adrian flicked his hand dismissively. "No one got hurt. Nothing happened. Just speed. My car has every safety feature. I was in control." "It is not your role to decide what level of danger is acceptable for other people," Judge Caprio replied. "Well," Adrian shrugged, "I mean, my dad donates to this city. We've helped fund infrastructure. So I feel like we've already contributed enough to deal with whatever this is." A murmur rolled through the room like a wave. There it was. The entitlement. Spoken out loud. Judge Caprio lowered his glasses and looked directly at Adrian. Not at his posture, not at his attitude, but at who he had become. "Mr. Mercer," he said softly, "do you believe your family's wealth entitles you to be treated differently under the law?" Adrian actually laughed. "Judge, come on. That's how the world works. You know that. Everyone knows that. The rich get better treatment. Nothing is equal. So let's save the speeches. Just tell me the fine. I'll pay it. I'll leave." Everyone moves on. The silence that followed was different than before. This wasn't surprise. This was disappointment. Deep, quiet disappointment that settles into the bones of a room. Even Adrian noticed this one. Judge Caprio closed the case file entirely, no longer reading, no longer referencing. He didn't need paperwork for what came next. He finally spoke, slowly, clearly, with the weight of lived wisdom. "Mr. Mercer, look at me." Adrian didn't. So the judge spoke again, not louder, just commanding. "Mr. Mercer, put the phone down. Now." The phone stayed in Adrian's hand. The bailiff stepped forward. And for the first time since entering the room, Adrian looked up. Judge Caprio stood. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't show anger. He simply stood, and the room straightened with him. "Mr. Mercer," he said, "I have spent years in this courtroom. I have seen hardship. I have seen struggle. I have seen people who made mistakes and learned from them. I have also seen people who believe themselves above others simply because of their circumstances." He looked directly at Adrian. "You are not special because of the family you were born into. You are not excused from responsibility because you have resources. You are not immune to consequences." Adrian swallowed. For the first time, a flicker of doubt. The judge sat back down and folded his hands. "Here is the sentence. First," Judge Caprio began, "you will be fined $5,000. Adrian exhaled relief. "Cool, whatever, I'll." "Paid by you," Judge Caprio interrupted. "Not by your father, nor through any accounts funded by your family. You will provide documented proof of income and payment." Adrian blinked. "Second," Judge Caprio continued, "your driver's license is suspended for 12 months. Adrian lurched forward. "A year? You can't. I need my car." "You need to learn," Judge Caprio replied. "Third," the judge said, his voice steady, "you are sentenced to 180 hours of community service." Adrian's jaw dropped. That's actual labor." "Yes," Judge Caprio said. "Manual labor." The courtroom remained completely silent. "You will report to the Providence Public Transit Maintenance Facility," the judge continued, "every Saturday at 6 a.m. You will clean and maintain public buses. The same buses used by the citizens whose safety you disregarded." Adrian's face went pale. "You want me to clean buses?" he said, voice cracking. "Yes," the judge said. "To understand the lives of the people you endangered. To work alongside those you believe yourself above. Adrian stood abruptly, panic rising. This is insane. Do you know who my father is? This will ruin my reputation. Judge Caprio's response was carved from stone. Your reputation is the result of your actions, not your last name. Adrian's breathing quickened. I'll appeal. My dad will have your job. Oh, I'll? The judge leaned forward, voice steady enough to silence the entire room. You may appeal. You may protest. You may be angry. But you will not walk out of this courtroom as the same young man who walked in. You will earn humility. You will learn responsibility. And you will come to understand that being alive is not something you are owed, it is something you are accountable for. The gavel did not slam. It didn't need to. The sentence itself echoed louder than wood against wood ever could. Adrian sat down slowly as if gravity had doubled. His phone lay silent on the floor where it had fallen. He didn't reach for it. For the first time in his life he felt small. Not humiliated by others. Humbled by truth. He whispered, barely audible. I didn't think it was serious. Judge Caprio nodded, compassionate but firm. That is the problem, Mr. Mercer. You have lived in a world where consequences were only stories told to other people. Adrian stared at his hands, hands that had never wiped a surface, never scrubbed, never worked in service of anyone but himself. How am I supposed to do this? He asked. One Saturday at a time, Judge Caprio said. And there was no anger in his tone. Just certainty. The bailiff approached. Not to drag Adrian. Not to threaten. Just to guide him. Adrian followed without another word. No sunglasses. No earbuds. No smirk. Just silence. The kind that comes when a person finally meets themselves. News spread immediately. Clips from the courtroom were shared across social media. But this time, Adrian wasn't the one posting them. The world didn't see a reckless teen mocking the law. They saw a young man confronted by the one thing he never expected. Accountability. Some celebrated the sentence as justice. Some criticized it as too harsh. But everyone agreed. Was historic. In the weeks that followed, buses in Providence shined a little cleaner. Not because of the maintenance staff alone, they were already doing their jobs. But because someone who once thought himself untouchable was now learning what work meant. It didn't make Adrian a hero. It didn't make him a villain. It made him human. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to become. Some people learn through guidance. Some learn through warning. Some learn through experience. But for a rare few, life must stop them in their tracks, before they realize the path they were on. Adrian Mercer didn't just receive a sentence. He received a chance. A chance to understand the world beyond wealth. A chance to see the people he once ignored. A chance to build a new version of himself. Not one shaped by money, but by character. If you made it to the end of this story, remember, privilege can make life comfortable, but humility makes life meaningful. Thank you for listening.